Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to cut parts on a Boss laser cutter. So we start out here in Fusion 360 and I have this part right here, so it's just this flat bar. Now I need to get this into a software that I can then send to Boss Laser. So to do that I'm going to click Sketch, I'm going to click on the top of the part, I'm going to press P for project, click the surface, and now I have a clean sketch with no duplicate lines or anything. I'll click Finish Sketch, and now we go here, and under Sketches, you go to where your sketch is, so Sketch 77, right click, save as DXF, and we'll just call it GPS mount plate, since that's what this is for. Save to my computer, done. Now we're going to go ahead and open Laser CAD. You can just download this online, version shouldn't matter, it should be all good. And we can do File, Import, and we'll see in our downloads, GPS mount plate, right there, as a DXF file. And there it is. So this is essentially your laser cutter bed. My laser cutter is configured with the origin for this part in the top right. It may be different, so just note where this little blue dot is right here. And we'll go ahead and I'm cutting out of 1/4 inch acrylic. So I usually like to use a speed of like 12 and a power 95. I don't do a very good job of keeping my laser cutter clean, so this may be a little lower depending on what material you're cutting. Boss Laser provides specs for this on the website. So now that this is configured, we essentially can send it to the machine. So we have a bunch of machines here. It's all the same machine, but sometimes it joins on a different COM port. So I'm going to show you guys how to find it in the next clip. But first, I need to plug into the laser cutter, so I'll show you that as well. The first thing we're going to do is turn the laser cutter on. So when I turn mine off, I usually hit this E-stop first. That's just to make sure that there's essentially 2 levels of power. So I'll go ahead and twist. That'll turn it on. I'll twist this key, and that'll actually give power to the device. So now it's going to run through a calibration, find its home, and then I'm going to show you guys where to move it to next. Alright, so now that it's on, what we're going to do is essentially move it to where we want our home to be. So, most of you it's going to start over there in the top right. I'm going to go ahead and move it approximately where I want it, which is going to be this corner, because remember our part is in the top right. Okay, so that looks good. Now, currently the Z height is off, so we're about 1 inch off the material. This does have auto homing, but I don't really like this limit switch sensor. It doesn't work very well, and if it misses, then it messes up your whole bed, and you have to rehome, recalibrate everything. So I'm just going to move the Z down manually. So there's this button labeled Z, top right in this keypad, with the down arrow. So we're going to hold that until we get to 1/4 inch. It's a little slow, so it takes a while. So now we're about 1/4 inch above material is the bottom of the laser head. That should be pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to press the origin button right here. That just says, okay, that blue dot that we saw back on the computer, it's going to be right there to start. So we should be all good. We're in the top right. Our part is very long, so that should fit no problem. We'll go ahead and close it up. And now we're ready to download the program to the laser cutter. So we got to plug in for that. So for this example, I'm going to be using USB rather than Ethernet. There is an Ethernet port right here. I found that it doesn't always work. Has some problems with connection, so I'm just going to go ahead and use USB for the simplicity. So we got this cable right here. It's going to be plugged in. Grab our actual USB-A end. Pull our laptop over. And we just plug it in. So now what we're going to want to do is download to our machine. So the machine might not show up. So what you want to do is you want to hit select mode. And you want to click add. And then we're going to do find COM.
and it's going to pull up the COM port that your machine's plugged into automatically. So it's this weird COM port, AWC, 0F, whatever. That's what it found, so we'll just click OK, and it's going to auto-select that. You see I already had it there, but I wasn't sure which one it was. And then you should see it selected up in this top right. Like I said, for the acrylic I'm doing, speed of 12, power of 95 is usually what I like to do. And we're just going to go ahead and click download. Download document. You can change the name here, it doesn't really matter. So now it's on the laser cutter, so I'll go ahead and show you guys what the interface looks like. Alright, so if you guys have done everything right, then we should see a duplicate of our part that was on the computer screen, and we should see it on the laser cutter now. And we'll have our power settings as well. They have something for min power right here in this little dashboard on the side. I don't think that matters. I think that's for engraving and scoring and things like that. We're just cutting, so it doesn't make a difference. But yeah, you should see your part here, and the blue dot will indicate where your origin is going to be relative to your part. So obviously on mine, it's the top right. So now we have all that done, we should just be able to hit start. So essentially you just press that start button, and you'll be good to go. Also, don't mind how dirty our laser cutter is. It's just gonna go and cut. Sometimes there's some flame ups, especially if you have paper on your material. Usually you don't really have to worry about it. The fire's usually not sustained. There's compressed air coming out of it that's supposed to prevent that from happening. Or if there's a fire, it's supposed to put it out. So you see there's a pretty big flame, but it just goes right away. And if it doesn't, you should always have a bucket of sand with you to be able to turn it off. Now, when you're cutting with the laser cutter, you want to make sure you have really good ventilation, especially when you're cutting something like acrylic. It tends to be very gassy, smells really bad. I think acrylic technically won't hurt you. I don't think poisonous gas, but it's still burning plastic, still smells bad. So you need a very good ventilation system to pull that air out. And even then, I tend to leave it closed for a minute or two after, just to let the air kind of settle, all get sucked out, make sure there's no extra fumes that are going to open up into the room. But we do have a ventilation system pumping the air outside at the moment. But it's a small part, so I don't need to wait as long, so I'll go ahead and open it. We see our part right there. Now, what I like to do is tap the part a little bit just to make sure it's properly cut through. So I usually tap, I see if it wiggles. And I try not to move the material too much because I can always do a second pass over it and finish the cut to not waste the material. So this one cut through, no problem. Maybe even a little too much, but that's all right. There's these little dots. I'll just go ahead and pop these out. Whoop. There we go. You see I got the paper on the bottom, which is causing it to flame up. But now here's our part. It's a little dirty. Sometimes I go wash it off, but not always. All right, let's see if I can pull this peel off. In one go. Oh no. It's okay. There we go. All clean. So we'll go ahead and see if this fits now. But yeah, that's essentially how you take a part from Fusion 360 or any other CAD software and put it onto the Boss Laser and cut. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.